Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Oink woof. Oink woof indeed. We have a reinforced hidey hole here today, apparently. I don't know why I used the cobblestone there, but we are breaking out, and we are going to continue... Okay, that's a burning skeleton and a normal pig. We're going to continue walking west to the Farlands here today in episode 516, everybody. Episode 516 is upon us. And yeah, Wolfie's excited. Let us continue east, west, alright? Let's consult the compass. While we're here, let's obtain some resources. But yes, it is episode 516, and today is, I think, or at least my notes are telling me, today is Thursday, October 8th? Is it the 8th? Is it October 8th, 2015, Thursday? Because it was kind of a mistake, an unintentional mistake, as most mistakes tend to be, that I went on a little bit of a side note about how I mixed up the days for last Saturday's episode, and then I got the day right, it was Tuesday, but then I got the date wrong. Oh man, I did the math wrong in my head. That's the one problem, I suppose, with recording these a day early now, is that I've got to do math in my head before I start the episode. But I'm fairly certain, I'm at least 45% sure that today, the day this episode is being released, is Thursday, October 8th, 2015, and we will be continuing to the Farlands, but not before we say hello to this cactus. Floating block of sand, floating block of sand. You are really actually quite high up there. Ow! Neat. Now, I wonder what happens if I update the block beneath it. Does anything happen? No, nothing happens. All right, well. It's a eclipse. a granular eclipse, named for the fact that the grains of sand. There we go. Total. Oh, almost total. Partial. It's an annular eclipse, I'm afraid. It doesn't... Whoop, Wolfie's pushing me around. Doesn't quite match up. You know, I've been watching... If I can be a little bit pedantic surrounding video games, nobody is ever that way surrounding video games. I have been watching a few... I've been checking in on live streams and a few people playing that... The episodic... What is up with episodic games? Anyway, but the episodic game... What's the deal? the episodic... What the heck is it called? Life is Strange or something? With the time-travel-y teenage girls or whatever. And spoiler alert, I guess. At some point, there is a... what is called an unscheduled eclipse. Like, solar eclipse. And as the teenagers... gaze longingly into the distance over this solar eclipse. They're very concerned. Although if there was... First of all, these things aren't scheduled. It's not like we call up the sun and the moon and we're like, are you guys doing anything in 2017? Would you mind doing like a full total eclipse over the Americas here maybe? Scheduled. But yeah, that would kind of, then they seem to go about their days. If there's suddenly a solar eclipse where oh, Wolfie's stuck in the water, I think, when there wasn't supposed to be, don't bother going into school the next day, because the world will be pulling itself asunder, and science will be turned upon its head. Speaking of science being turned upon its head, look at this crazy place we're walking up on. But yeah, first of all, there was a solar eclipse. And in the next scene, it was that night, and there was a full moon. So, something really wacky would have to be going on where there would be a solar eclipse, where there's a new moon, where the moon is on the same side of the Earth as the sun, and the same night, less than, let's call it 6 hours later, because they watched the solar eclipse at sunset, 6 hours later, the moon is full. That means that the moon starts to suddenly orbit the Earth at like once every 12 hours, the tides, the tides would be wacky and crazy, and all the coastal lands would have some sort of a field day with whatever was going on with the tides. Oh, this is all floating here, isn't it? Neat. Whoa, watch where you're walking, Kurt, looking up. And into a pool of lava. This is a neat floaty thing. It's a neat floaty thing. Neat floaty thing indeed, with chickens on board. So yeah, I don't. I'm taking too much from Neil Degrasse Tyson there in being so critical of media's portrayal of astronomy. But that struck me as a little weird, doesn't it? Am I the only one? I'm not going to play that game, by the way, but am I the only one? If I was playing that game, that would be like a whole 3-episode tirade. I'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I can understand the girl traveling through time and being able to change her decisions. But let's stop a minute here with the moon suddenly eclipsing and then in the same breath being a full moon. Either there's 2 moons, or maybe the eclipse wasn't caused by the moon at all, and we've got some sort of Independence Day situation, spacecraft happening upon us. I have a feeling that society and science would be kind of throwing a fit, and not just being like, well, better continue with our lives. Can't stop going to work and going to school if astronomy and gravity and the laws of physics have all torn themselves asunder. Oh man. But anyway, it was kind of a whole, I talked about it for at length, the trying to come up with a reasonable explanation for the Minecraft moon, because it is constantly on the opposite side of the Minecraft planet, but it changes phases somehow. So we were trying to figure out maybe it's not orbiting the Minecraft planet. Perhaps it's locked in an opposite Lagrange point. But then that really doesn't specifically make sense with the phases, unless it is kind of undulating in that Lagrange point and every now and again travels to the planet's shadow. I don't know. Kind of weird. But yeah, I could go on and on and on about that, but anyway, it's just a little observation I made. Another observation I made is that we are continuing to raise money for Child's Play charity. Wow, that's a stretch, Kurt. We are up to, we just at the last episode passed 10%, but now we are up to $6,337.64 raised for Child's Play charity this season. We're trying to raise $60,000. And we're quite on our way to do so. So I do appreciate the continued support. Over at farlandsorbust.com is where you can donate. That all goes directly to Child's Play Charity. You can learn more about them specifically at childsplaycharity.org. They help get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. And families in shelters is another initiative they've taken up in the last few years. And all that amazing stuff run by great people over there that I have the very, what's the word I'm looking for? Privilege? Honor to at least talk to every time I go to a PAX. They tend to be there and get to talk to them and get updates about what I'm doing and what they're doing, and very, very kind folk who run that, and really good charity. You know, they have less than a 5% overhead, so of the cash donations, you can be rest assured that 95% of your cash donations actually turns around and turns into the thing that they're doing, as opposed to some other charities you may find is far less than that, perhaps even less than half, because the rest goes to salaries and administration fees and advertising and sponsorships and, you know, that stuff that might not be 100% in line with their actual cause. What's that site called? Charity report card, or what is that called? Charity tracker, there's a website that gives you all the lowdown on You know, if you want to donate to a charity and you want to check to make sure they're on the up and up and they get a lot of what they do actually goes to what they do and they're a legit nonprofit and or whatever. What is it called? You'll let me know in the comments what it's called, but it is something like charity ratings, charity report card, something like that. But Child's Play charity ranks pretty high on. You know, they look at their transparency of their funding and etc., etc., etc. But yeah. Speaking of the sun setting, let's turn around and see what phase the moon is in. See, it's got that weird shadow. That's not really an eclipse shadow. That's more of a light source shadow. Like the sun should actually be over there if that's the way we're being illuminated. I don't know. I don't know, Minecraft. I'm starting to lose faith in your dedicated, realistic portrayal of real life. Oh, brother. But, yeah. I suppose if the Minecraft world is completely flat, then maybe the moon is just completely flat, and it is kind of just moving at an angle to us. You know, like you're holding a sheet of paper and you angle it, and then the shadow appears. I don't know. Let's go to sleep. Speaking of shadows, we are deep within the shadow, and we'll continue in the morning. And astronomical craziness. Astronomical craziness. Speaking of the flat Minecraft world, I forgot to mention this in the last episode. I heard about it before the last episode, but I forgot to mention it. A fan of Farlands or Bust and a YouTuber himself who goes by the name and the channel of Pi 314159265358978. I'll just call you Pi from now on. Are we on a first name basis? But he has uploaded a video with a tutorial and a kind of a fix for this jitteriness that I actually can't show you now because I'm in a boat. But the jitteriness, as we get further and further from 0-0, the jitteriness, what in every single episode of Farlands or Bust, at least one or two people comments, why is it so glitchy? Why is it so laggy? Why so much lag? Update your computer. Is the video messed up? Is the video player, is YouTube screwed something up? No. These are the effects of getting so far away from your spawn point. As your coordinates get so large, they are held in a floating number, a floating point number. And as that number gets bigger and bigger, you lose points and points, and you lose precision and precision. And that's where we get the jitteriness from. Apparently, Pi has uploaded this video where he went through the actual Minecraft code and found that, in fact, they programmed in, they wanted to use double precision, which is a different type of coordinate precision. I'm speaking with mild misunderstanding probably here, but of what I watched in his video, there is a part of the code where it says, okay, the player's position shall be recorded in the game with double precision. With that, there wouldn't be this jitteriness because it isn't a floating point precision. But then later on in the code, they apparently forgot about the double precision thing. I'm not sure if this is Notch or one of the other people came in or whatever. Whoever we can blame on this, let's blame Notch. No. Later on in the code, instead of calling back to that double precision, they instead make it a float precision and reintroduce the jitteriness. So it seems as though they intended not to have this be an issue, but they kind of forgot about it, and now we get the jitteriness like this. And the block selection is, right now we are 2 texture pixels off. In, say, another 400 episodes, it's going to be 4 pixels off. But anyway, Pi actually went in, made an edit to this file, or files, to then recall the double precision, and it fixes it. It completely fixes, and he proved it by actually putting himself like at the 12 million block mark near the Farlands, within almost eyeshot of the Farlands, and he shows what it's like before, when it's like literally a full pixel off, it's really weird looking. Like, the textures don't even move. It's like when you see a spinning wheel and it moves so fast that it matches, like, the frame rate of your camera, that it doesn't look like it's spinning anymore. The same effect happens with the textures because they're jumping a block per jitter. That means it doesn't look like they're moving at all. So you're like walking on a treadmill, it looks like. It's a really neat effect. But apparently he has fixed this. He has, you know, he's pretty much saying he thinks this is what they intended. This is what the Minecraft creators, not whoever was doing the code at the time, intended, but they misplaced the float back in there. So that's very interesting. And of course, everybody's sending this to me. He even calls out and said, oh, maybe Kurt can use this if he wants to. He doesn't feel like it's a mod. It's actually how the game was technically intended. It's kind of just editing the source code to make it work as it was intended. It doesn't change the generation of the terrain. The far lands still remain, but it's very interesting. It's very interesting, and I do appreciate him for. Oh gosh, darn it! Hold on a minute. Frickin', sorry. NVIDIA drivers, new drivers available. Nuts to you! I installed that and nothing works, I tell you what. But, sorry. Diversion. But yeah, he says, you know, I could download this file and just replace this, and it will affect nothing else in the game. All the terrain generation is the same. It just affects the floating point thing. And I could use it if I wanted to. And everybody's been sending it to me and says, oh, you should use this, you should use this, you can use this. Not right now, at least. I don't feel like... I know it is for some, but I don't feel like the jitteriness is enough of a problem to be doing such things right now. Possibly eventually. Ask me in 400 episodes when we cross the next threshold, and the jitteriness will increase double-fold, and will be 4 texture pixels off, I believe, is what the next time that's going to be. Or it might just jump to 8, I don't know. But, yeah, ask me then. Perhaps when it becomes that kind of a problem. It's not a problem for me right now to be playing like this. And it's honestly kind of interesting. It is a visual proof and representation that, yes, this is not your normal Minecraft Let's Play. This is not your normal Minecraft journey. We are way out there. But yeah, I do appreciate that. And maybe, like I said, maybe if things get so bad, I'll keep that file in my back pocket and perhaps recall it in 3 or 4 years. But yeah, that's really cool. And it was kind of really the first time I've ever seen anybody. He showed his work. He showed the code and showed the exact lines where here's doubles, and all of a sudden the floats return for whatever reason he doesn't realize or doesn't understand. So it's really cool, and I do appreciate that Pi for showing that. He's got a bunch of other videos on his channel too, I guess, if you want to check it out, where he does he looks into the programming of the game. He more recently looked at the different, all the different terrain sliders and what they do, and did a really cool time-lapse thing where he just adjusts things by 0.1 and sees all the differences on a certain block of land. Kind of cool stuff on his channel. Kind of like the science of Minecraft, the literal, not in-game science, but the literal like coding, computer science of Minecraft. It's kind of cool stuff. But yeah, I might, maybe, but not right now. Not right now. Like I said, I feel like we made such a big deal. We made a big monument, a threshold, when we actually went back a few episodes to find when the changeover, when the point floated, I guess. That I feel it's an important part of the series. No, it's an important part of the series, as it is now. I do apologize for those few people who perhaps it is unbearable to watch. I can't bear it. I can't bear to watch. But that's why the podcast exists and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, that's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting to see that. Also, speaking of Minecraft, I'll mention briefly, there are videos. The latest snapshots, a long-requested object in the game, gliders. Is it I haven't actually watched any of the videos. The thing I saw yesterday was Jeb tweeted a GIF of he was testing around. Basically, capes can become wings, and you can glide around. Is it gliding, or can you actually, like, powered flight? It seemed like gliding to me, which is interesting. It was kind of one of the things that seemed interesting about that one game that everybody forgot about now, Cube World, is that you could have a glider, and you can jump off a perch and glide your way down as kind of an easy way to travel. It's the only way to fly. And now they're actually seeming like that's going to be a feature in the full release Minecraft 1.9. So that's interesting. That is an interesting addition. These potions, all these delayed swings, and weird arrows, end structures we talked about last episode, and weird water temples are kind of questionable additions. This is something that I could see is a good addition because people have been asking for it for the past 4 years. So, yeah, it looks really cool. And it looks like there's this kind of like a physics, like aerodynamic physics engine with the GIF I watched. I've only watched the GIF. I haven't watched any videos yet. Perhaps I should have before I started talking about it. People like Doc and Seth Bling have uploaded snapshot videos to show the changes. But it seems like there is like some sort of physics. There seems like there is a momentum and lift working there. I did make quite the Twitter joke. I am quite the one-line jokester. With that GIF, I retweeted the GIF and said, gliding into your DMs, like, get it? Like sliding into your DMs, but gliding, get it? Jokes. Because it was kind of a funny thing where it was just it's an image of one of the end buildings, and then suddenly this Minecraft character comes flying towards the camera. Oh, jeez. I'm great, aren't I? Please, stay tuned. Many more cheesy jokes like that to come. But, yeah, that's kind of an interesting addition. That's something in the snapshots that I'm actually looking forward to trying. So stay tuned for many, many fails in that. I'm sure you can probably die if you hit the ground too hard, right? So yeah, that'll be neat. Wow, it's the land of the pigs. Let us sleep amongst the pigs. And then we'll continue in the morning, and we'll actually have some questions from Child's Play charity donors. Woof! Woof indeed. Oh, it's still the same phase. Interesting. That too, it's kind of like random. The phases that the moon goes through. Make up your mind! Universe. And awakeness. And a glidersness. Oops, I've done this wrong because now I'm 4 blocks up and gonna take some damage. Alright, let's try to fix this. Alright, Wolfie, you're gonna have to get out of the way. Alright. Whoa, why can't I walk off? I'm not holding shift. I can't walk off the edge. What is happening? I'm pressing W. Why can't I walk off this edge? Oh, I'm like shifting. Uh-oh. Oh, that's why. Uh-oh, keyboard. Alright, let's not... that was weird. I was stuck shifting. I was very confused. I'm like, oh my god, something broke. Why can't I walk off the edge? Oh, that's not what I meant to place the block. Whoops. Alright, I am not great at this video game. That's what I was trying to do, was jump off the edge and then go like that so that it wouldn't take fall damage. But I failed. I have failed you. I'm so sorry. We've got a question here from, well, a few questions from Xavier Penguin. Or Xavier Penguin? Have I been saying it all wrong all this entire time? I'm so sorry. Has asked, would you rather be ignorant and happy or knowledgeable and never fully content? Well, I know what I already am, so I don't know that I have much of a choice. Probably knowledgeable. With knowledge comes great responsibility. Ew, I touched a squid. Ew. I don't know why I got such a kick out of that, but oh man. This is the only reason I make videos, my friends. It's to crack myself up. Hey, it's another floating block of sand, floating block of sand. You should talk to the other floating block of sand because it was a little bit more impressive. So yeah, I accept the burden of knowledge. Would you rather be a vegetarian or only be able to eat meat? Like, you can't, like, I couldn't eat potato chips, it would have to be beef jerky. I feel like I would die a rather gruesome and heart attack-filled life if I was only able to eat meat, so I'd rather be a vegetarian. I'd actually like to try being a vegetarian, but I don't know if I have the gumption to do such things. It's not as hard as it seems, and I'm sure there's a lot of just culture and marketing that makes it feel like it's harder than it seems, but it's something I'd like to do. Maybe I need like a friend or something. I need a friend who like is already vegetarian or vegan to hold my hand through the process. It's so scary. But yeah, I'd rather be vegetarian. Would you rather have the ability to fly or the ability to read people's minds? I have a feeling being able to read people's minds would be a window that you wouldn't want to open for, we tend to see a bit of people's minds on the internet that we'd rather not see, so I'd like to fly. That seems like something that could impress a lot of people, so a lot of floating blocks today. Floating block of dirt. Floating block of dirt. You're trying to upstage the floating block of sand. See, this is more of a transit of Venus happening right here. A little bit smaller across the face of the sun. Yes. It's it's transit and eclipse day here in Farlands Bust. All eclipses all the time. So yes, thank you, Xavier Penguin. I think he said they asked that based on, I think, Chad and Aurelian do some sort of Would You Rather Minecraft game series or something. I don't know. But, alright, so those are the Would You Rather questions of the day. Otake has asked, or Zero Take, what is your... there goes the rest of that. Oh, I didn't take another... Oh gosh, these boots. These boots are made for falling, and they're not going to last very long because of it. What's your opinion of citizen science? Lay people helping scientists to gather data or conducting their own research? I've answered this a few times, and I said I do... I see no negatives from it, to be honest with you. The whole Galaxy Zoo thing, and then there's all different zoos that come from that. There are the programs where you kind of donate your computer's CPU cycles for finding, prime numbers or examining data from SETI or, what's the other one? Folding at Home, SETI at Home, all those at-home programs. I see no problem with it. There's even, the Moon Zoo where you're given high-resolution images of our moon, and you try to find all the craters so that they can have a detailed catalog of where the specific craters are and their sizes and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't see a single. I can't think of a single negative out of it. It has been proven to be accurate. A lot of people might say, "Oh, these people aren't trained to do this, that, or the other." Well, sure, there may be a few either bad eggs or inaccurate folks in the group, but when you overall make it a crowd-scienced thing, and through the law of like averages and stuff, overall the data you get is far better even than one you would get from a computer program identifying galaxies or objects in the sky or craters on the moon and stuff like that. So I don't see why that wouldn't be a positive at all. And then, of course, there's probably not citizen science, but then there's, schools and students sending up experiments to the International Space Station or up on those little CubeSats. That's always an interesting thing to get involved in. There's even the camera on Juno going to Jupiter that is going to be, it's kind of an educational and outreach camera that will be, handed over to students who will be able to choose targets for photography when it finally reaches Jupiter. And it isn't necessarily... It's an outreach instrument. It's not necessarily going to be used for specific science or anything like that, but it's an outreach instrument that always gets kids and students and the younger generations interested in the science and perhaps a path for their own exploration and career and future or whatever. So thumbs up all around for Citizen Science, I'd say. I'd say indeed. Dark Glasses asks, are you surprised that Wolfie has survived this long? I'm not surprised because of all the things I have to do to maintain Wolfie. If I just like didn't feed or care or try to avoid cactuses and stuff like that, then yeah, I would be surprised if Wolfie had lasted this long without any player guidance. It is kind of like one of those missions in a video game where you have to babysit somebody, get them through the minefield or whatever. And there's certainly a minefield here in Farlands or Bust. But yeah, not really surprised. It's an interesting, yet again, it's just another interesting thing about the series. It's not just me walking to the Farlands, just some random lone dude. He's also got to be carrying the weight of a frozen yogurt, of a four-legged companion along with him. What were your favorite Flob episodes to record? To record, not necessarily the outcomes or the episodes themselves, but to record. Huh. I've honestly not thought about this before. Oh, that's a skeleton over there. Gotta go. I saw his head peek out. Probably like the special episodes. The Nether episode was fun to record because I didn't know how it was going to turn out, and then it ended up turning out pretty exciting. And it kind of, as a whole, I was kind of worried I was taking too long building the end or the Nether portal. Too busy talking about stuff before actually getting to it, but it really kind of followed what would be a great storyline. You know, we established the plot thickened, there was a problem, and I slowly worked to a solution, and then I finally went into the Nether in a great climactic moment, and then things started to go wrong, and started to get shot at by ghasts and things, and the hero fought back, took down a ghast, and at the last moment, just before his Nether portal got blown to smithereens by a ghast explosion, he finally made it out, and everything was okay. It was a very, one of those things that you just simply can't plan. And, that sort of stuff was fun. But I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know it was a fun episode to record until after I'm done recording it, kind of, I guess. That's how that cookie crumbles. Oh, careful, Wolfie. Oh, chaos. Whoop. Hello, tree. Nice to see ya. Speaking of trees, let's try to get out of the densest part of this forest. It's a nice little valley here. Should we try to make it over this ridge, or does it all look the same? So yeah, that's hard to say. The season 3 or 4? See, the season 4. Here we go. Oh no. Oh no. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. And let's dig in. Phone going off. Oh. Oh, dang. Woof. Yes, I know, Wolfie. We're getting there. How about you have a seat? No, have a seat. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, the season 4 premiere, I suppose you could call it, was very fun, but that wasn't, that actually took some production to do that flyover when we were, the very dramatic music, the dramatic flyover of where we had gone to invoke the hidey hole paradox, the dramatic music, the whole kind of TARDIS sequence, I guess I could call it. That was fun. That was fun. That was a lot of work, but it was fun to record, and then fun to see the outcome and the reactions from that. I feel that turned out well. And then the kind of the subsequent episodes of seeing where we'd been or whatever was kind of neat, you know, kind of a journey through time. There we go. Cathedral ceilings here in this episode's final hidey hole. Oh, man. This episode was fun to record. I certainly entertained myself back there with that joke that I don't even remember what I was laughing about so much. But, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for these donations and, of course, your questions. When you donate to Child's Play Charity, you can leave a question in the comment box, and I will get to it shortly. Or longly, depending, in a future episode of Far Lands or Busts. Giving me things to talk about, things to do here. Because it's a long journey, and the jitteriness will get worse. That is until we perhaps implement the jitteriness fix. Who knows? Only time will tell, and I hope you stick around, hopefully, to find out. Wolfie does too. Wolfie wants to see you, because he's going to last much longer too. And y'all will be so surprised. Right? Yep, Wolfie. Good job. So, yeah. This has been episode 516 of Far Lands or Busts. My name is Kurt. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time. Ew, I touched a squid. Ew.